stats are I'm with Cures Not Wars, particularly the cures aspect of Cures Not Wars, working all over Michigan. I know some of the faces in the room, some of the other faces I don't know. I guess they're local kids coming up, learning the truth about cannabis and the lies about marijuana. And I had a fresh crowd. I figured I'd do a speech to people who have never heard me give before that I've given from D.C. to Seattle. But he kind of stole my thunder there because it's true. We are caught up in a lie, and there's this lie around this word marijuana. So sometimes what I like to do is say, hey, I don't use marijuana. I do not use marijuana. You shouldn't use marijuana either, because marijuana is a joke. Marijuana is a stupid thing. Marijuana makes me sick. If I could make it through the rest of my pathetic little life without marijuana having to cross my lips one more time, then I can consider myself to have lived a successful and happy life. Because marijuana doesn't exist. Marijuana is just a word. The real word is what? Cannabis. That's right, and that's the cannabis sativa plant. This, what I have in my hands here, is a sample of the first legally harvested hemp on U.S. soil. It was harvested by the family of Alex White Plume in 2003. They came, they harvested the males, the DEA came and sent their agents in and said, wait a minute, they already harvested. And that kind of screwed up their little plan. And so from 2003 on, there were no more police raids to steal the Lakota hemp. And the reason is, as long as it's growing and leaves are flying and it's got a bud on the top, you can make the allegation, if you're a pig, that it's going to be marijuana. But the second you pull it up, yank the branches off, break the top off, throw it on the ground, you've destroyed the marijuana, just like many a cop has done to mine in the park. And you've got this stem, which is what you want until we can have, of course, hemp leaves for biomass pyrolysis, which is a whole other speech I give. But what you have is undisputably hemp. And once it's out of the ground, they cannot make that accusation anymore. And so they could not make that accusation against Alex White Plume. I was there before the harvest. We had a circle meeting with the tribal council, and we all got a chance to say one thing. I thought, boy, what if I only get a chance to say one thing? What am I going to say? I'm going to say, you know what? If they're going to accuse you of being marijuana farmers, then maybe you might have to act like marijuana farmers and not be so public about your published harvest date and all that, because the pigs were coming 4 days before the published harvest date and stealing the crop. But I said, you got to obey the one rule of the marijuana farmer. Plant all you want. It won't do you a damn bit of good if you're not the one that harvests it. So I'd like to think that that's why the Oglala Lakota don't get raided anymore on the reservation, and why we have beautiful examples that we are making our victories in the war against cannabis. Cannabis is the real word. Marijuana is the lie. Marijuana is a word that they use to make a law to outlaw the world's premier resource plant. Cannabis has a beautiful, wonderful history. The oldest relic is a piece of hemp fabric garment. The oldest writings from China of medical writings discuss the many medical uses of cannabis. There's been no black mark in the entire history of man about cannabis, and then until the 1930s came up, and then this word marijuana came up. So I don't like to use the word marijuana, and I don't think you should either. It's like black people calling themselves nigger. And I just want to say, if you want to change the laws, how about try this angle? Ask your representative and your senator, how can a law be a legal law if racial hate speech is contained within that law? Right. It's like, hey, Jesse Helms just passed this new law. It says you do 10 years if you get caught in your car with a nigger. You get nigger involvement. That's every bit as much racist hate speech to say that as I got caught with marijuana in my car, marijuana involvement. Because it's the last of the Jim Crow laws. The sick history is there. Nobody's teaching